Happy Tuesday, folks, and congratulations on finding the only KJ Simpson podcast on the internet. Welcome into another episode of Hornets Daily, presented by FanArc, your one-stop shop for all things Charlotte Hornets. I'm your host, Vance Ballard, but you know by now that all the good friends out there call me VB. Want to thank everybody for joining and watching along today. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave a like and a comment on the video. The chat is starting to fill up here in recent days, and as I've told you many times, we're going to dive into some of you guys' comments and thoughts. I posed a question yesterday on the show. We'll get into that today, see what you guys have to say, how you feel about the front office's handling of the Con Knipple situation. Again, we'll save that for later on in the show. It's a busy Tuesday here on Hornets Daily. We've got a few things to talk about. The preseason schedule has been released. We now know both games that the Hornets will be playing in, both of the opponents and the locations as well. A couple special locations on tap for the exhibition games come October. We'll get into that, give you a preview of where those are going to be taking place, and talk a little bit about the locations themselves. We'll go over Game 3. We'll have a recap of last night's affair. 3-0 the Hornets now in Summer League play. We know here in Charlotte, you got to take that record with a grain of salt. Not always indicative of what is to come in the regular season, but it is nice to get wins all the same. We're going to dive into the chat thoughts. Like I said, I asked a question yesterday. We're going to get into your guys' answer for that question. And then there's a few comments that have been dropped, whether it be some repeats in terms of subject matter, or there's one interesting question regarding the potential roster come regular season time that I'll answer and dive into as well. And we're going to wrap today's show up with a quick preview of Game 4 in the Summer League out in Las Vegas. The Hornets will be taking on the Spurs on Thursday. Now, I know we've still got a couple days to get to that point. Thursday's a few days away, and we'll dive deeper as the coming days progress. But today I do want to get out in front of a few things, give you some names to look out for, some potential matchups in what's going to be an exciting Summer League matchup between the Hornets and the Spurs. So we'll dive into all of that here on today's program. And if you're familiar with it, you know we don't do beating around the bush here on Hornets Daily. We like to just dive right into it, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. As I mentioned, the preseason schedule is out. One of the games we already knew about on October 5th, the Hornets will be technically playing host to the defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. That's going to be an exciting matchup. Again, we knew about that one. Game 2 that we did not know about, a new release yesterday, October 15th at 7 p.m., taking place in the Greensboro Coliseum. Now, I know that's not the name of it, but as a 90s child born in North Carolina, it will always be the Greensboro Coliseum deep down in my heart. That game, again, October 15th at 7 p.m., will be against the Memphis Grizzlies in Greensboro. Another exciting preseason matchup there for the Hornets. Now, as I said, we've mentioned the Oklahoma City game here on this podcast before, something we have talked about. As we know, the Hornets are the home team in that game, but it'll be taking place in Charleston out at North Charleston Coliseum, home of the Charleston Southern men's basketball team. So it'll be nice to see the Hornets expand their fan base a little bit, get out into South Carolina, allow for some of those fans to come out and see the team live in what's going to be a tough test of top NBA talent. We expect the full roster to be there for both, so it'll be nice to see the matchups take place and see where the Hornets land in terms of playing the team to beat in the NBA, as the Thunder, again, are the defending champions. It'll be nice to see what kind of development has taken place over the offseason for the returners and how the rookies have adapted to their first summer in the NBA. It'll be nice to, again, just get a test of the talent there and see kind of a measuring stick game going into the regular season for where the Hornets may be. Now, the Memphis game, it too offers a lot of exciting matchups. Specifically inside, I like the idea of Jaren Jackson Jr. going up against the bigs of the Hornets, seeing what they have to offer against a proven big man in the league who just signed a very large contract. It'll be a nice matchup for Salon, Debate, maybe Mason Plumlee, whoever it may be inside there, going up against Triple J. Another thing I'm very excited about is the location of that game. As I mentioned earlier, Greensboro Coliseum holds a very special place in my heart, being from the area, not but about 30 minutes away. I've spent many a night at a basketball game at the Greensboro Coliseum, and I know what my plans are on October 15th as well. It is an illustrious building to go watch a basketball game in if you get the chance to do so. I highly recommend it. Now, why are the Hornets playing away from home, you ask? That is because now they're doing it. They're doing it out of necessity, not as much want to. I know it's not a bad thing to go on the road, get some new fans, and a chance to see your team when they maybe not be able to get out to Charlotte so frequently. Will bring some fans closer down from the other side of the state towards Greensboro, and then, as I mentioned, reaching out into the South Carolina fan base in Charleston as well. That will help the team, but they are traveling because of the renovations being done to the Spectrum Center that are currently underway. Going to try and revamp that, bring some new life into the building, give it a little more exciting feel for home games this season. They expect the Spectrum Center to be open by the first regular season game, so it'll be an exciting environment with the new facelift that the building is getting. Now, we'll switch gears a little bit here. We'll transition back into the Summer League as we'll talk about Game 3 that took place last night. I mentioned the Hornets now 3-0 in Summer League as they were able to knock off the Mavs 87-69 in a defensive performance last night, a strong one at that. The Hornets only allowed one Mavericks player into double figures. That's Ryan Nembhard with 11 points in 25 minutes. The next closest guy, Maxwell Lewis, had 9 points. So just one double-digit score in what was a very impressive defensive performance all around from everyone that played in that game last night for the Hornets. Now, there were some bright spots on offense as well. I know 87 points, not a crazy high-scoring game, but the Hornets did look good on the offensive side of the ball. He was back. Con Knipple played again, the number 4 overall pick after resting in Game 2. He looked much better than he did in the first game, and he seems to be very healthy. He put all that to bed. The questions that the decision to rest him brought about was about his true health, and he answered most of those last night, showing he is indeed healthy and ready to go. Con played a team-high 26 minutes. He finished with 16 points, 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc, 16 rebounds to give him a double-double, and 4 assists to go along with it. So he was able to put his playmaking ability on display as well, and it's always nice if you can get 16 rebounds out of a guy who plays in the position and where Con Knipple does on the floor. Nice to see him crashing the boards as well. Again, I'll say it again, Con shined in this one. You can see it down there on the headline. He was very good. He came out with a point to prove to show some people that he is feeling better and he is ready to be an NBA basketball player, and last night's performance was a good step towards that for sure. Now, we didn't see Liam McNeely or Sion James as they were both resting. I would assume they're on track to be back for Thursday night's game, but neither of those rookies played in last night's performance. The other rookie, Ryan Kalkbrenner, he did play in the game. He played 22 minutes, scored 9 points, and had 5 rebounds, just 3 of 6 from the field. Took 4 three-pointers, only made one of them, but it is nice to see the big man step out and start taking those threes. We know he said in a press conference coming into Summer League that the coaching staff has told him if he's open to, quote, let it fly. And so he did exactly that last night, only able to hit one of them, but again, nice to see him stepping out. Did have an assist in the game as well, finished at a plus 16, so his impact was felt throughout the game, despite not being a super high scoring night or a big stat number night altogether for Kalkbrenner. Now, in the absence of McNeely and Sion James out in the backcourt, we got to see more action from the man we mentioned in the beginning of this podcast. You knew this was coming, folks. You can't bring him up in the intro without ranting and raving about KJ Simpson. He has been fantastic all summer. Another great performance last night. Team high 18 points, 6 of 13 from the field, 7 assists to go along with it. So not only was he doing it himself, he was finding ways to get others involved, passing out to open shooters, and they were converting as well. KJ Simpson, again, has having a massive summer out in Vegas. He's looked very good in all 3 games so far and is doing his best to show he's very much ready to be a part of this Hornets rotation, be a big part of the Hornets rotation, and brings a lot of comfort to the guy playing behind LaMelo Ball now, as Simpson seems like his development over the last year has really taken an uptick and is paying. The hard work he's put in is paying off. He's very ready to become an important piece of the Charlotte Hornets basketball team. Now, another second-year guy we all know we've had our eyes on, not just us, the whole world really been watching. Number 6 overall pick from last year's draft, Tajon Salon. He played again last night. He played 18 minutes, just 2 of 6 from the field, so kind of a slower offensive night, finished with just 6 points and 4 rebounds. But Salon, too, had a major impact in the plus-minus category, finishing with a plus 14. So he was still able to make his impact felt. He was in the right spots on defense. He made it tough for the big men of the Mavericks to get to where they needed to go. As I said, only a guard scoring in double digits. So the overall defense was good last night, and Salon played a big factor into that as he was able to help out on that end of the floor despite having a slow night on offense. A couple other guys we've mentioned who played well last night. Jalen Sims, he actually got the start. He played 21 minutes, scoring 13 points with 3 rebounds to go along with that. And PJ Hall, somebody who has been very impressive here in this summer league. He's done a nice job carving out a spot for himself as a two-way player between Greensboro and Charlotte when he needs to come up and fill a spot in the rotation. I think he's going to be more than ready to do that. He did not make a 3 last night. I know I've talked about his jump shot coming into place and really improving. Was 0 for 2 from beyond the arc, was 4 of 9 from the field. He scored 9 points off the bench and had 5 rebounds to go along with it in just 13 minutes of play. So Hall, once again this summer, doing a nice job capitalizing on the time he gets on the floor. He's making quite an impression on anyone watching Hornets games. Again, like I say, he's going to carve out a nice role for himself, I think, as a two-way player, bouncing between Greensboro and Charlotte for the organization, at least this upcoming season. Another player that we have talked about here, MJ Walker, he got in the game last night, played 20 minutes, did come back down to earth, a little more pedestrian numbers than the 6 of 8 from 3 in his first appearance. Just 2 made three-pointers last night. 2 for 11 total from the field. He only had 6 points, but it was nice to see him back out on the floor. He added to that defensive effort, keeping the Mavs at just 69 points. So an overall good performance all night long from the Hornets, as again they move to 3-0 in Summer League with their 4th game upcoming on Thursday. We'll do the gear switch again here, folks. Let's shift it back into another one. We'll talk about, as I mentioned, we're going to dive into your thoughts in the chat. First, we're going to get to the question that I posed yesterday. I asked on yesterday's show, as we know, Con Knippel missed game 2, but it sounded like the front office was more than aware that was going to be the case. That was all part of the plan coming into Summer League. So the question I asked was, is it a big deal? Is it something worth noting? Should we even care? 1, about Con's health, and 2, about the way the front office handled this situation. If they knew long before the tip-off of Game 2 that Con wasn't going to play, why did they wait until an hour before tip to let us know that? It's the Summer League. You don't really get matchup advantages. There's no gamesmanship to be had out there. So it was interesting to me, intriguing to say the least, as to why the Hornets front office decided to wait until just about an hour before tip-off to let us know something that they claim to have known for quite some time. Now, in the answers in the chat yesterday, it does seem that the majority of you agree with me that Con's health is not a very big deal. This was all before the game last night, and then after, now we feel even better about it as he came out and showed pretty handily he is ready to go, fully healthy. This indeed does seem as if it was a scheduled rest for Knippel. Several of you agree with me there, but you also, on the other side, did say that there's a little bit of weirdness to it, and I think this probably comes from the apprehension of being Hornets fans for so long and having dealt with the previous regime. You always kind of got to keep your head on a swivel, sleep with one eye open, be aware, whatever that phrase you want to use may be. There's always a question lingering in the back of the mind about the front office, and this decision definitely doesn't help that. Now, again, I think it's probably nothing. It was a plan. and Khan does seem to be fine. It just, again, feels a little bit weird to me that they decided to wait until the last possible minute to make that announcement. Now, a few other things in the chat that we have seen so far as we've progressed through the Hornets Daily podcast here. There's been several comments about LaMelo and the excitement you guys have for him going into the next season, and of course, all of them are marked with if he can stay healthy. We know that LaMelo's health is a big question mark as he's only played 107 games in the last 2 seasons, so we know availability is always up in the air when it comes to LaMelo Ball and his abilities to play for the Hornets organization. Now, with that being said, what we've seen in Summer League from KJ Simpson, the re-signing of Trey Mann, all that should bring a higher level of confidence to LaMelo's health if it does go south and he is forced to miss some time. KJ Simpson. I'll say it over and over and over again. He continues to impress in the Summer League. Seems like he's going to fit seamlessly into the rotation if he needs to come in and take some minutes for LaMelo. The addition of Trey Mann, we saw him before he went out last year. He was coming on hot, shaping up to be a great sixth man on this Hornets roster as well. So there's pieces in place if LaMelo does go down, and that's not even me mentioning Colin Sexton and Spencer Dinwiddie, who are also on the roster and can fill some minutes at that one spot. So while, yes, we all want to see LaMelo play the superstar in a Hornets jersey, if he is unable to do so, if he does have to miss time, as we've seen him do so often, it should feel a lot better this time than it has in the past because of the pieces that the Hornets have brought in. Jeff Peterson and company have done a nice job stacking things up at the guard position just in case the worst case scenario does unfold. Now, another comment I saw in the section got from Charlie Smarts here a couple days ago. He posed a question back to me asking, what do I think about this lineup rotation? LaMelo, Colin, Spencer, and KJ at the 1. Brandon Miller, Trey Mann, Nick Smith Jr. at the 2. Miles Bridges, Con Knipple, Liam McNeely at the 3. Tajon Salon, Moussa Diabate at the 4, Ryan Kalkbrenner, and Mason Plumlee at the 5. Now, I don't hate that rotation, and I don't think that come October it's going to be too much different. One name that kind of stands out there is Nick Smith Jr. I know it's been a little quiet as of late since we've gotten into Summer League, but it still just doesn't feel like to me he's going to be on this roster come regular season time. It just seems like he is going to be, there is going to be a move made for him. I've noticed a couple names you left off of this here as well, Charlie. There's no Pat Connaughton, who the team just added. I think he'll probably be a part of the rotation, maybe in that spot where Nick Smith Jr. is. There's also no Josh Green, so I want to see if you guys think the way I do. Do you also think Josh Green is going to be moved on from? Because I think before the season gets started, both him and Nick Smith Jr. are probably on the way out the door. But the rest of the roster, I think it makes a lot of sense. There is still a lot of question at the 5 position between Kalkbrenner and Plumlee. Kalkbrenner has shown some promise in the Summer League, but he's also shown why the fears that we have about him do exist. He seems at times to be just a little bit slow, going to still need to develop that one step. And again, as I talked about it after one of the games already, he just needs to be more aggressive at times. It feels like sometimes he's a little too passive on the floor, and when you're as big as he is, it's important to go ahead and own that paint. And that's something he's been good at times and he's struggled with at times, so it'll be interesting to see where he falls in the rotation. Is he going to actually be in it come opening day, or will he be more of someone who's got to work down in the G League to get that development? I'm not sure the answer to that question. I think he may have to be on the roster just based on need at this point. The Hornets not exactly stacked at the big man position against Salon and Diabate. Can drop down and play the 5 if they have to, but the taller Plumlee and Kalkbrenner are, of course, the preferred option. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of impact the veteran Mason Plumlee can have in his return to Charlotte this season. So I think based on those names there, that seems like a pretty fair assessment of the way the roster may shake out. Again, I think a couple changes Pat Connaughton probably ends up making the rotation. Nick Smith Jr., I'm not sure, is going to be in a Hornets uniform. But all of that is not for me to decide, but I'll be on the lookout, ear to the ground, and I'll let you know about all of it as soon as it happens here. Thanks for playing along with me, joining the game there, chat. It's fun to talk with you guys. That's something, again, we'll continue to do here on Hornets Daily as we progress through the podcast and move further into the offseason, headed for the upcoming regular season. Now let's downshift again one more time, back into another gear here. We've got a fourth Summer League game on the docket. It is a couple days away. The Hornets will be taking on the San Antonio Spurs on Thursday for their fourth time out in Vegas. The 4 games that will complete the 4 games we know about. There's at least one more pending, and if they can make the playoffs out there in the Summer League, which is shaping up like they may be able to do just that, then more games are in store for the Hornets, and we'll preview those as we get to them. Now, this Spurs matchup brings a few exciting pieces to it. I think Dylan Harper versus the backcourt. Obviously, we know that's going to be a fun matchup. Another chance for KJ Simpson to go up against a rookie phenom, if you will. High draft pick in Dylan Harper, somebody who is got what we think has a very high ceiling with a lot of expectations coming into the league. So it's going to be good to see KJ go up against another guy like that. Can he take over the game and kind of control things the way he has been throughout the summer so far? As I mentioned, that was one of the things I wanted to see from him going into this summer league, being a second-year guy, more veteran in terms of summer league experience. He's done a good job using that as a leg up and kind of, like I say, taking over these games. He did it last night, scoring a team-high 18 points. KJ has been very good this whole summer, and I think a matchup against Dylan Harper that looms is going to be something beneficial for him as well. We'll see Khan matched up with Harper more than likely as well, maybe even James and McNeely. So a lot of players should get their go at the rookie phenom. But not just the backcourt is going to be tested, the front court as well. Another good test inside for the bigs as Ibrahima Diallo is on the other side for the Spurs roster. Another 7-footer. He's really the only one on that Summer League roster, really the only tall guy, though. So it'll be interesting to see what Kalkbrenner can do when Diallo is not on the floor. If he gets to go against a little bit smaller guys, can he kind of take over, again, make that paint his own, be more of the aggressive presence? When Diallo's not on the floor, of course, it's going to be interesting to see how he bangs with somebody his size. Another opportunity for him to go against a 7-footer and just get some more in-game minutes. We'll also have a few other names. Noah Farrakhan, the rookie guard, is an exciting name to watch out of the Spurs Summer League roster as well. And then a couple of other names just to bring them up. I'm not sure what kind of impact they'll have on the game, but they are exciting names to talk about. One local-ish type of guy, former UNC Tar Heel. Harrison Ingram will be suiting up for the Spurs as well. Be fun to see what he brings to the game and how the Hornets match up against him. Jameer Nelson Jr., that's a name you'll probably recognize because he's the son of Jameer Nelson, the former NBA guard. So again, just 2 more exciting names to take a look at on that Spurs roster. We'll see what kind of impact they have on the game. Always nice to see a legacy guy in the NBA, kind of like DJ Rodman, that the Hornets are putting out there as well. So again, a lot of excitement in Game 4. I know it's a couple days away. As I said, we'll take a deeper dive, do a better preview on Wednesday and Thursday as that game actually approaches. But I did just want to get you guys out in front, say a few names on the roster, maybe something you can take back to the water cooler, impress some folks around the office after you finish up this episode of Hornets Daily. And speaking of finishing up, that's going to do it here, folks, for this Tuesday episode. Thank you so much for watching along. As always, I'm Vance Ballard. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment. We'll dive into the chat again probably tomorrow and the next day. Going further through these episodes, we'll make that a more regular thing here on the pod. For everyone at Hornets Daily, thanks again, as always, for watching. Keep buzzing, Hornets fans.